On a morning in 2012, a middle-aged man stumbled upon a horrifying scene. A woman's lifeless body lay motionless on a rocky outcrop, already in the stages of decomposition. The stench was overwhelming, the signs of violence unmistakable: a brutal blow to the back of the head, strangulation marks around her neck. This was no climbing accident, but evidence of a meticulously planned murder. Clues from an abandoned bag, large shoe prints on the red clay, and a crumpled bus ticket led the police into a maze of greed, desire, and betrayal. The victim was a woman who had lived a prosperous yet ambiguous life. A seemingly harmless trip turned out to be a one-way ticket to death. Who was the person who accompanied her deep into the mountains, only to push her into eternal darkness? Whose greed transformed them into a cold-blooded killer? This secret would unravel, and when the truth emerged, it would make one shudder at the true nature of a human being. The chilling discovery on Mount Tianling. On the morning of September 2nd, 2012, Mr. Lin, a 50-year-old man from Minglong Village, Qinglong County, Banshui City, Guizhou Province, woke up early. After saying goodbye to his wife, he set off alone, carrying a backpack, a sickle, and a knife, heading to Mount Tianling to collect medicinal herbs to treat minor ailments. With stormy weather approaching, he wanted to gather as many herbs as possible, wash them, and dry them before the terrain became too slippery and dangerous. He followed a familiar trail leading from the village, venturing deeper into the mountains. The morning air was fresh, the trees lush, and birdsong echoed through the forest. After walking a considerable distance, Mr. Lin stopped to rest under a large tree, setting his pack down. Just then, a faint foul odor in the air made him frown. He thought it must be the carcass of a dead animal nearby. The smell grew stronger, making the air heavy and oppressive. Feeling uneasy, he decided to move to a fresher spot to continue his journey. As he walked, he noticed a small shoulder bag lying haphazardly by the roadside. The bag looked relatively new but was dirty, as if it had been there for a while, exposed to the elements. Curious, he picked it up and opened it. Inside, there was nothing of value, just a blister pack of unfamiliar pills, a bottle of medicated oil, a handkerchief, and a crumpled bus ticket. Mr. Lin quietly left the bag behind and continued deeper into the mountains. About 10 meters ahead, near a large rock outcrop, he froze, his whole body paralyzed with shock. In front of him lay a decomposing female body. The gruesome sight left him dizzy, his heart pounding, breath short and frantic. He suddenly realized that the foul odor wasn't from a dead animal, but from this human corpse. Snapping back to his senses, Mr. Lin hurried back the way he came and ran to report the discovery to local authorities. Around 8:30 a.m. that same day, police officers from Qinglong County and forensic doctors arrived at the scene. The area around Mount Tianling was cordoned off to facilitate the investigation. Crime scene evidence and initial police hypothesis. The victim's body was that of a woman lying supine on a large rock outcrop. She was dressed in hiking gear, consisting of compression leggings, a t-shirt, and UV protection gloves. Her feet were clad in athletic shoes. There were no signs of torn clothing. The victim had short, dyed blonde hair, tattooed eyebrows, and was approximately 1.58 meters tall. She wore a Buddha pendant necklace and a sandalwood bracelet on her left wrist. Her fingernails and toenails were neatly trimmed and coated with clear polish. A preliminary examination revealed a deep indentation at the back of the victim's head, consistent with a forceful blow that caused hemorrhaging and hematoma. The body was in the early stages of decomposition, displaying signs of livor mortis, severe skin discoloration, and prominent blood vessels beneath the surface. Forensic experts estimated that the victim had been dead for about a week. The body showed evidence of insect activity and bacterial tissue decay. which produced a characteristic foul odor. Notably, a distinct ligature mark was found around the victim's neck. This detail led police to suspect that this was not an accidental hiking incident, but a deliberate murder. The investigation was immediately expanded to uncover the truth and identify the perpetrator. The victim's arms, especially from the elbows to the wrists, bore multiple overlapping scratches. Forensics concluded these were likely caused by a struggle between the victim and the assailant. However, there were no signs of sexual assault. Apart from the head wound and neck ligature mark, no other serious injuries were found. The indentation at the back of the head suggested that the victim was struck with a blunt object. When discovered, the victim's head and upper body rested on a large rock, with her lower legs dangling over the edge. The rock beneath the victim's head was stained with dried blood. Dried blood splatters were also found on nearby leaves and pebbles. Some surrounding plants were bent and crushed, indicating signs of a struggle. Less than 2 meters from the body, authorities found a bottle of water and a bottle of energy drink. The water bottle was half full, while the energy drink bottle was almost empty. Expanding the search area, investigators discovered a women's bucket hat with a drawstring, commonly used for hiking. The police believe the hat likely belonged to the victim. Although no fingerprints were found on the body or items at the scene, police identified a large shoe print near the soft clay soil close to the rock outcrop. The print was from a left foot, measuring about 30 centimeters long, 10 centimeters wide, and 3 millimeters deep. The print was narrow, with a distinct heel mark and shallow horizontal grooves, typical of running shoes. The tread pattern featured a V-shape consistent with Nike Air Pegasus shoes, and red clay particles were embedded in the sole print. Upon further investigation, authorities determined that this type of red clay was found only in a small hill about 1 kilometer from the scene. Interestingly, the victim's shoes also had traces of the same red clay, suggesting both the victim and the assailant had traveled through that area. The path from the base of the hill to the discovery site consisted of a single narrow trail. Other possible routes were obstructed by steep rocks and dense foliage. Based on the collected clues, police hypothesized that the perpetrator did not ambush the victim randomly, but was someone she knew. The police reconstructed the scenario as follows. The victim and the perpetrator hiked together, passing through the clay soil area about 1 kilometer from the scene. They stopped to rest at the large rock outcrop, drinking from 2 different bottles. While the victim sat on the rock, the perpetrator struck. Caught off guard, the victim was swiftly subdued. The assailant strangled the victim forcefully and then repeatedly smashed her head against the rock, causing immediate death. This brutal act explained the severe neck and head injuries. Police believe this was a premeditated murder, with the perpetrator luring the victim to the remote, rugged terrain to stage the scene as a hiking accident. The absence of the victim's wallet, phone, or identification further supported the theory that the perpetrator took these items to obscure her identity and delay the investigation. However, these conclusions were still preliminary. The investigation remained ongoing to uncover the truth and apprehend the perpetrator. The crumpled bus ticket and the victim's identity. After collecting evidence from the scene, police determined that a detailed forensic examination was necessary to clarify the cause of death and swiftly identify the victim. There were no identification documents on the victim's body. The Buddha pendant necklace and the sandalwood bracelet suggested she held strong spiritual beliefs. Based on the clothing brands and the estimated value of the jewelry, police concluded that the victim came from a relatively affluent background. Additionally, the victim had a 5 centimeters chrysanthemum tattoo on the left side of her lower back. The tattoo was discreet, difficult to see even with off-shoulder clothing. From her short, stylish haircut, the tattoo, her clothing, and the well-maintained nails, authorities inferred that the victim cared about her appearance and likely worked in an office environment. According to Mr. Lin, the man who discovered the body, He had seen a black sports bag not far from the location of the corpse. Police recovered and examined the bag, identifying it as a Nike crossbody bag. Inside, they found a blister pack of female aphrodisiac pills designed to enhance desire and pleasure. There was also a half-used bottle of medicated oil, a pink floral-patterned handkerchief, and a crumpled bus ticket. Although the bus ticket was crumpled, police managed to recover the details. It was for bus route 06 in Banshui City, Guizhou Province, dated June 1st, over 3 months prior. Given the proximity of the bag to the body and the victim's hiking attire, police believe the bag belonged to the victim. After the scene investigation was complete, the body was transported to the forensic lab for detailed examination, including toxicology tests to determine if the victim had been poisoned through food or drink. Meanwhile, police expanded their investigation to the residential areas near Mount Tianling, where the body was found. Mount Tianling was known for its untouched natural beauty, attracting adventure tourists and explorers. However, due to its rugged terrain, it rarely saw visitors. About 3 kilometers from the mountain lies Minglong Village, a sparsely populated farming community. Young people often left the village for opportunities in the city, leaving mostly middle-aged and elderly residents behind. Villagers like Mr. Lin were familiar with foraging in the forest for herbs and firewood. During the investigation, police interviewed a villager named Mr. Wang. He recounted that about a week earlier, he encountered an unfamiliar man and woman on the path leading into the mountain. They asked him about the terrain and directions. As young tourists occasionally visited the area, Mr. Wang thought nothing of it and gave them directions. Although Mr. Wang could not clearly recall their faces, he described the man as taller and more robust than the woman. Both were dressed in athletic wear and spoke in a friendly manner. Other villagers also reported briefly seeing a man and woman near the time the victim was believed to have died. However, the body's advanced decomposition and facial disfigurement made identification difficult, especially for those who had only seen the couple from a distance. Locals mentioned that a woman named Sun Yuanquan, 27, who worked in the city, had recently returned to the village for her mother's memorial service. Yuanquan brought a group of 4 friends, 2 men and 2 women, half from the city and half from other provinces. After the memorial, they explored the village, and some villagers saw them heading towards the dirt road leading to Mount Tianling. Police visited Sun Yuanquan's family to investigate further. Her father and brother confirmed they had seen her and her friends leave by bus. Police contacted Yuanquan and her friends, confirming that they were all safe and not involved in the case. The detailed autopsy revealed the victim was between 40 and 45 years old. She died from a combination of severe head trauma and strangulation, which fractured her larynx and hyoid bone. No traces of poison were found. The time of death was determined to be about a week earlier. Based on this information, authorities reviewed missing persons cases from Qinglong County, where the body was found, and Banshui City, linked to the bus route 06 ticket. 2 cases matched the victim's age and height. 1. Lu Jinshui, 44, reported missing on August 26th. Jinshui was physically and mentally healthy, took great care of her appearance, and enjoyed outdoor activities like hiking. In her free time, she often went on excursions with friends and participated in salsa dancing clubs. 2. Zhang Xixin, a single woman who had been missing since August 15th. Her family reported that before her disappearance, she had stolen her father's savings to run away with a lover, who later gambled away the money. Ashamed, Zhang returned home empty-handed and emotionally devastated. The family kept this incident secret until contacted by police, revealing she was still alive. When Zhang's family confirmed she had returned, Lu Jinshui became the primary suspect for identification. Lu Jinshui's son and daughter were brought in to identify the body. They confirmed the height, age, hairstyle, and tattooed eyebrows matched their mother, though they were unaware of the chrysanthemum tattoo on her back. Due to the body's facial disfigurement, Visual confirmation was impossible. To avoid mistakes, police conducted a DNA test comparing the victim's DNA to that of her children. The forensic results confirmed a maternal relationship between the victim and the children. This established that the victim was indeed Liu Zhenxue. 2 marriages and complicated love affairs. After confirming her identity, police began gathering information about Liu Zhenxue and her social relationships. Investigations revealed that Zhenxue had been through 2 marriages. Her 2 children were from different fathers. Her daughter, Wang Xiang, 27, was the child of her first husband, Wang Qixiang, while her son, Zhou Xiaozhang, 24, was the child of her second husband, Zhou Xiaoming. Following her 2 failed marriages, Zhenxue lived alone in a rented house on the outskirts of Banshui City. Her daughter, Wang Xiang, was married and living in another city. Her son, Zhou Xiaozhang, was renting an apartment in downtown Banshui after graduating and was working there. Both children were busy and rarely visited their mother, keeping in touch mainly by phone. On August 25th, Zhou Xiaozhang called his mother, but her phone was disconnected. Worried, he informed his sister. Both tried contacting their mother's friends and relatives, but no one knew her whereabouts. After their search efforts failed, they reported her disappearance to authorities on August 26th. Police determined Zhenxue had gone missing on August 25th, as she had visited a neighbor the night before, on August 24th, and chatted late into the night. When police searched her home, they found no signs of struggle or unusual activity. Her jewelry and some cash remained on the table, but her phone and wallet were missing. The lack of surveillance cameras in the suburban area made finding clues challenging. Police began analyzing the possible motives of the perpetrator. If the killer had planned to lure Zhenxue to the mountains to murder her, it indicated that they were acquainted. Investigators focused on her social relationships to identify potential suspects. According to family members, Liu Zhenxue married young. At 17, she had a brief relationship with a young man 5 years older named Wang Qixiang. Despite family opposition, they dated and eventually ran away to the city. After living together for a while, Zhenxue became pregnant and returned home. Under pressure, their families arranged a wedding. Initially, their marriage was harmonious, but financial pressures forced Wang to work in the city, leaving his wife and child at home. In his absence, Zhenxue began changing. She often socialized with neighbors, played mahjong in town, and mingled with other men. When Wang found out, he returned home to keep an eye on her. Zhenxue promised to change, but repeatedly broke her word. Despite his mild temperament, Wang eventually reached his limit. He confined Zhenxue to the house and physically assaulted her. Their marriage ended shortly thereafter. After divorcing Wang, Zhenxue remained single for a while. However, Wang later approached her, seeking reconciliation for the sake of their daughter. Despite his sincerity, Zhenxue firmly refused. Not long after, Zhenxue began dating Zhou Xiaoming, a man nearly 10 years her senior who owned a construction supply store in town. Zhou had previously divorced and was financially well off. As Zhou's wife, Zhenxue lived a comfortable life, focusing on housekeeping and self-care, which made her appear youthful and stylish compared to her peers. However, this comfort was short-lived. Zhou Xiaoming's business faltered, and he lost everything. Financial troubles led to frequent arguments, and eventually, they divorced. Surprisingly, despite her faults in the first marriage, both ex-husbands, Wang and Zhou, remained attached to her. Wang repeatedly tried to reconcile, while Zhou kept in touch after the divorce and often sent her gifts. Neighbors reported that Zhenxue's ambiguous relationships with her 2 ex-husbands were a topic of gossip. Wang and Zhou would take turns visiting her, sometimes staying overnight. Zhenxue seemed unfazed by their rivalry, telling neighbors she would decide who to reconcile with based on who was the most sincere. Noting the irregularities in Zhenxue's complicated romantic life, police decided to launch a detailed investigation into her two ex-husbands. Clear alibis for the two suspects. Wang Qixiang currently works as a factory worker at a plastic manufacturing plant in Banshui City. To be closer to his ex-wife, he rented a place near Jinshue's house. On weekends, he often visited her and even joined a dance club to have more opportunities to see her. Zhou also worked as an employee for someone else. Despite his busy job, he made efforts to stay on good terms with the neighbors, hoping they would speak positively about him to Jinshui. When police questioned Wang, he firmly denied any involvement in Jinshue's death. He appeared very emotional and cooperated fully during the investigation. When asked about his whereabouts on August 25th, Wang stated that on the evening of August 24th, he called Jinshui to ask if he could visit the next day. She refused, saying she already had plans. On the morning of August 25th, Wang rode his motorbike to Jinshue's house, but she did not answer the door or his calls. Frustrated and disappointed, he returned home and went to a friend's house to drink. He spent the entire day drinking, only returning home in the evening. His drinking companions corroborated his statement, given that the distance from Wang's rented place to Mount Tianling, where the body was found, was nearly 40 kilometers, and the timeline did not allow for him to commit the crime. Police ruled Wang out as a suspect. Although initial suspicions against Wang were significant, witness testimonies and his clear alibi confirmed that he was not involved in Jinshue's murder. The investigation then shifted focus to other relationships in Jinshue's life. As for Zhou Xiaoming, the investigation revealed that he was not in Banshui City on August 25th. He had attended the wedding of a close friend's daughter in another province. Due to the distance, he returned home the following morning. Zhou provided an electronic train ticket purchased for that day. Police verified his statement by reviewing surveillance footage from the train station, which confirmed his presence there. With a solid alibi, Zhou was also ruled out as a suspect. One by one, the men with close ties to Jinshui were eliminated from suspicion. This led to the pressing question: aside from her two ex-husbands, could someone else have had a close relationship with the victim? To narrow down potential suspects, police decided to expand interviews to include family members, friends, and people who frequently interacted with Jinshui, including members of the recreational club she attended. ATM withdrawals. The next suspect emerges. While gathering information from Jinshue's daughter, Wang Xing, and her son, Zhou Xiaozhang, police discovered that Jinshui had a large savings account. This sum included monthly contributions from her children, support from her two ex-husbands, and proceeds from selling inherited land. When her body was found, personal items like her phone, wallet, and bank cards were missing. Expanding their search around the scene, police found no further clues and suspected the perpetrator had taken these items. Stealing the bank card only made sense if the perpetrator knew the PIN. If the suspect was someone close to the victim, it was likely they knew her financial situation. Even a recent acquaintance might have guessed her financial standing based on her attire and appearance, let alone someone familiar with her. Operating on this theory, police investigated the bank where Jinshui held accounts. Records revealed two significant withdrawals on August 27th and 28th, after she went missing on August 25th. This strengthened the suspicion that she had been killed on the day she disappeared. A total of 90,000 yuan had been withdrawn, escalating the gravity of the case. The next priority was to clarify these suspicious transactions. Police retrieved surveillance footage from the ATMs where the withdrawals occurred. The footage showed a man over 1.7 meters tall making the transactions. To avoid recognition, he wore a wide-brimmed hat, a face mask, and a jacket. He kept his head low in front of the ATM to avoid the camera. Interestingly, although he wore different clothes on August 27th and 28th, the hat and sandals remained the same. The suspect also had a habit of tilting his head slightly to one side while operating the ATM, a detail that caught police attention. The withdrawals occurred late at night in isolated areas with few passers-by. The suspect walked and deliberately chose routes without surveillance cameras to evade detection. To track the suspect, police mobilized teams to review all street surveillance footage near the ATM locations. Though challenging and time-consuming, police believed results would come soon. The fact that the suspect used the same ATM 2 nights in a row led police to suspect he was hiding nearby. Dance club connection. The perpetrator identified. During investigations into Zhang Shui's social relationships, police uncovered a new lead. At a salsa dance club, Zhang Shui often partnered with a young man about the same age as her son. The young man was well known at the club for frequent visits. The man was identified as Jiang Xiaoshan, 25 years old. Phone records revealed that in the past 2 months, Jiang Xiaoshan had frequently contacted Zhang Shui. Notably, on the morning of August 25th, Jiang called Zhang Shui, and the call lasted about a minute, ending at 5:45 a.m. This detail suggested the timing was not a coincidence. After Zhang Shui's disappearance, Jiang Xiaoshan also vanished suspiciously. Attempts to reach his phone were unsuccessful, as it was disconnected. His sudden disappearance heightened suspicions. Further investigation led police to Jiang's rented room, located 150 meters from the dance club. The landlord confirmed that Jiang had lived there for a year and often brought older women home. On August 29th, he suddenly moved out without prior notice, even giving the landlord 500 yuan and instructing her not to share information about him. The landlord reluctantly agreed, but when questioned by police, she disclosed his whereabouts. Neighbors said Jiang worked as a porter at a nearby farmer's market. Despite his good looks, he was lazy and untidy, yet popular with older women. To locate Jiang Xiaoshan quickly, police deployed additional forces and analyzed potential hideouts. After a 2-day search, they found Jiang hiding in his hometown in Dingtan. Upon searching Jiang's suitcase, police found valuable items, including a mobile phone, gold rings, earrings, and a watch, all identified as belonging to Zhang Shui. Additionally, Jiang's bank account showed recent deposits that matched the amount withdrawn from Zhang Shui's bank cards. Faced with irrefutable evidence, Jiang Xiaoshan confessed to the crime. A relationship of money and desire, the root of the crime. According to Jiang Xiaoshan's confession, he first met Lu Zhanshui at a dance club. It wasn't a chance encounter. Jiang intentionally approached her. He had observed Zhang Shui beforehand and recognized that she was financially well off. Jiang Xiaoshan, 25, was the second son in a family of 4 brothers. Since childhood, he was often compared unfavorably to his siblings by his parents and relatives. He dropped out of school early and refused to help his family, leading his parents to kick him out with the declaration, "Don't come back until you have a stable career." Angered, Jiang left home, vowing to become a millionaire and the richest man in the village. In Banshui City, Jiang repeatedly failed in his endeavors and could only find heavy labor work at the local farmer's market. Despite his desire for wealth, he was lazy and avoided hard work. Realizing he had good looks, Jiang devised a plan to seduce wealthy, single older women at dance clubs. He entered relationships with women as old as his mother or grandmother, receiving generous payments after each sexual transaction. Though he earned some money, Jiang refrained from spending much, as he hadn't yet achieved his dream of becoming a millionaire. On days he couldn't find a target, he continued working as a porter to get by. His relationship with Zhang Shui began when they first partnered for a dance. After just a few conversations, Jiang proposed a sexual transaction with Zhang Shui. Unlike other women, Zhang Shui agreed to meet him once a week until she lost interest. The payments Zhang Shui gave Jiang were substantial, so he eagerly maintained the relationship. During their time together, Jiang realized Zheng Shui had considerable wealth and began to covet her money. He fantasized about going from millionaire to billionaire. Seeing Zheng Shui's lack of caution, he planned to seize all her assets. On August 25th, following their prearranged plan, Jiang and Zheng Shui went to Mount Tianling for an outing. To avoid surveillance cameras, Jiang asked Zheng Shui to take a motorbike taxi to a secluded meeting point, after which they took a taxi to Minglong village on the city outskirts. From the village, they walked and asked locals for directions to the mountain. At Mount Tianling, Jiang suggested resting on a rocky outcrop. When Zheng Shui let her guard down, he held a knife to her neck, demanding she reveal her bank card PIN. Terrified, Zheng Shui complied, pleading for her life. But Jiang did not keep his promise. He pushed her onto the rock, strangled her, and smashed her head against the stone until she stopped moving. After committing the murder, Jiang took all her valuables and left the scene. Due to the bank's withdrawal limits, he split the withdrawals over 2 days, August 27th and 28th. He staged the scene to make Zheng Shui's death look like a hiking accident. After withdrawing the large sum, Jiang returned home with a triumphant expression. He flaunted his impressive bank balance, hoping to earn his family's admiration. But his joy was short-lived, as police quickly tracked him down and arrested him. When searching Jiang's suitcase, police found Lu Zhenshui's belongings, including her phone, gold rings, earrings, and a watch. Jiang's bank account also showed deposits matching the withdrawals from Zhenshui's bank cards. Faced with undeniable evidence, Jiang Shaoshan confessed to his crime. He was sentenced to death in a high court trial for premeditated murder and robbery. The case shocked the public not only for the perpetrator's cruelty, but also for the victim's recklessness. Many argued that Zheng Shui's casual and trusting approach to relationships put her in danger. However, others criticized society for exploiting the feelings and vulnerabilities of middle-aged women, suggesting this tragedy serves as a wake-up call for those who trust too easily. What are your thoughts on the perpetrator and the victim in today's case? Leave a comment below to discuss with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Decoder Box to stay updated on intriguing crime stories around the world. Goodbye and see you in the next video.